Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I don't know about you, but I haven't met many people that have 3 balloons for their birthday. I'm Nick Morganelli. We'll introduce you to a very pious, incredible man who celebrated his 100th.
It is Respect Life Month, and we'll take you to a pro-life art show in the diocese. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up. And Father Brian McGrath is in the kitchen with the scoop on pumpkin soup. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel as we kick off the month of October. As the saying goes, with age comes wisdom. But for one local senior priest, the godly wisdom, grace, and love goes beyond words. As we just marked the feast of St. Francis, Nick Morganelli now shares with us a very special birthday of a beloved Franciscan friar who has been a first-hand witness to history.
This celebration was a milestone. Friends, parishioners, family, dignitaries, and clergy attended a special birthday mass and reception for this gentle and pious man.
I've known Father Lucian for over 40 years. He's a man of great hope, a man of great vision, and a man of great humility, and also a man of great determination. When he sets his heart and mind to do something beautiful for God, nothing stops him, and he does it always with a smile.
Well, as we age, we get more wrinkles, and it is said that the best wrinkles on one's face are from where smiles have been, like these right here. So I guess the smiles on Father Kolakowski's face for a century are perhaps countless.
He is now the Dean of the Franciscan Order. That means he's the eldest friar in our Franciscan Order worldwide. And the Minister General of our order in Rome has sent him a letter of congratulations, recognizing him as the Dean of the Order.
The youngest member of the Franciscan Order, Joseph Crondon, visited from Maryland for the special day. Many wanted to give Father Lucian personal birthday wishes and receive a blessing from him. They also purchased his latest book, one of 3 he has authored.
I'm a representative of a whole family from Poland, so this is a very special occasion, and the biggest family member, the oldest family member, yeah.
The kitchen staff served Polish delicacies, of course, and proudly wore their Team Lucian tees. Ethnic music and words of congratulations and gratitude came all the way from Poland in more ways than one for the man who they know is a true hero to the Polish people.
This morning we received by fax a letter from the President of the Republic of Poland addressed to Father Lucian, congratulating him on his 100th birthday and acknowledging his heroic life of assisting the Polish orphans in Siberian exile on their year-long trek to Africa and being their chaplain in the refugee camp.
When we were in Germany, just came from Italy, so the communists wanted to take over the children, so they accused me of being pneumonia, having tuberculosis. So in that case, I would be discarded, you see, entirely. And they would take care of the children. But Archbishop of Montreal paid me, you see, to go to Canada and I took the children with me.
His Excellency Mr. Golubiewski, the Consul General of the Republic of Poland to the United States, addressed those in attendance, delivering many accolades to Father Lucian.
Even now, at the age of 100, he's on the phone every day, he's communicating with his friends, and they look upon him as a father and grandfather figure.
My motto from many, many years up to now is kocham każdego człowieka, który przychodzi do mnie z uśmiechem. I love you. My first and principal word through all the life is love, love.
He's on fire still at the age of 100 with proclaiming the kingdom of God and trying to let everyone know that the kingdom of God is a welcoming kingdom for all people to enjoy. It's a great honor for me to be Minister Provincial to a living saint like Father Lucian.
A 100-year-old hero that has exemplified the works of a saint all his life. May your 101st year and the years ahead be no different. Celebrating in Chicopee, for Reel to Reel, I'm Nick Morganelli.
And we wish Father Lucian good health and many blessings in his 101st year and beyond. Well, October is Respect Life Month, and one way to highlight the good work people are doing is a display of pro-life art at St. Michael's Cathedral in Springfield. It's often said that the youth are the pro-life generation. As it turns out, youth are also the artists for the display. Carolee McGrath caught up with two young women to find out why the pro-life cause is so important to them.
Educating people, adoption, March for Life.
Jim Brunault, a board member of Pro-Life of Pioneer Valley, looks over the artwork hanging in the Cloisters Art Gallery, which connects St. Michael's Cathedral to the Bishop Marshall Center. The art was submitted by students last spring for Pro-Life of Pioneer Valley's annual breakfast.
We had about 40 entries from young people on the topic of what can I do for pro-life. And those entries were all put on display at our breakfast that we had last April, and we got such a great and positive return, we wanted to do something further.
The artwork will be on display through October 13th, ending with a reception at the Bishop Marshall Center from 1:30 to 3 p.m. All 40 pro-life artwork entries will be on display.
I know this was one of the favorites of the woman who runs the gallery here. Pro-life, isn't it such a miracle watching them grow?
Olivia Pupolo, a freshman at Pope Francis, is the young artist behind the picture.
I had things I was going to draw, like I had the ideas I had. For some reason, like a sunflower came to mind, and I'm like, well, sunflowers need love to grow just like kids do. So I just wanted to connect those two together.
I drew an unborn baby surrounded by a rosary, and I kind of wanted it to represent like the womb, like the rosary, and in it I wrote like different ways that people can help like be pro-life, like different ways to fight like against abortion.
Kara McGinnis, a junior at Holyoke High, came in first place in the art contest last spring.
How do you find the courage to stand for life in a world that says you're crazy?
Well, I think it's important, like especially at my age, because I do realize that a lot of it is centered around like teen pregnancy and issues with that, and I'm like, I just feel like it's important to let people know that there are other options.
Options, she says, such as Bethlehem House in East Hampton, which offers support to women facing a crisis pregnancy, and Clearway Clinic in Springfield, a pro-life medical clinic staffed with nurses, ultrasound techs, and a doctor.
Polls are showing that more and more young people are pro-life, and this art show is another example of just how important this issue is to them and how they understand truly what's at stake.
A poll conducted by Marist College and the Knights of Columbus last February showed a pro-life shift, with 47% of young people identifying as pro-life. 48% said they were pro-choice. Outside of the polling data, teens are making the case that every life matters.
So I remember last year in my religion class, our teacher was saying, like, how do you know that that child that you are carrying with you isn't going to be the next president or isn't going to be the next person to, like, cure cancer? Like, you don't know that.
And the messages of the artwork continue to resonate. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
The art will remain on display at St. Michael's Cathedral through Sunday, October 13th. Also on that day, there will be a gathering at the Bishop Marshall Center where all of the artwork submitted last spring will be on display. So be sure to check that out if you're in the area. And the Springfield Diocesan Pro-Life Commission is again promoting the Fall 40 Days for Life campaign here in Western Massachusetts. Joining me now is Tim Biggins, campaign director, to tell us more. Thanks for being with us today, Tim.
Thank you for having me, Sharon.
So we're already in the midst of this 40-day campaign, which began on September 25th. Tell us, what are the efforts that are underway?
Well, we're maintaining a presence at the abortion clinic, a vigil. It goes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day, and most locations do at least a 12-hour vigil. Some places do 24 hours a day.
Now, this is actually more than just a Western Massachusetts effort. I understand that there are campaigns going on all over the United States and the world.
That's correct. I think it's over 515 nations, 515 cities and 26 nations around the world.
So if folks want to get involved, how can they do so?
The best way would be to look us up on the 40 Days for Life website, which is 40daysforlife.com, and then look under locations and find Massachusetts, and Springfield will be on there. They can go directly to 40daysforlife/Springfield-2 if they like, if they can remember that.
All right, Tim Biggins, it was a pleasure speaking to you today, and we wish you all the best. And again, the 40 Days for Life campaign runs through November 3rd. We will post a link with more information at iobserve.org. And still to come on Reel to Reel, faith and the environment in the Amazon. And Soup's On. Father Brian McGrath is back in the kitchen. These stories and more still to come on Reel to Reel.
Let us praise the Lord.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Carolee McGrath, inviting you to take time out of your busy day and join us Sunday morning. We welcome Father Matthew Guidi as our Mass presider and celebrate the 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Chalice of Salvation, Sunday mornings at 10 on 22 News, WWLP, and coming up next on Albany's Fox 23, WXXA.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Travel with Catholic Communications in August 2020 for the pilgrimage of the decade as we experience the Oberammergau Passion Play. Join Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky and Father Gary Daly for the spiritual journey to Germany and the village of Oberammergau. Since 1634, this famous play has been performed every 10 years in this quaint alpine village. Our 10-day pilgrimage will begin in Brussels, Belgium, and continue through Cologne, Heidelberg, Oberammergau, and Munich, Germany. With daily breakfast and dinners included, pilgrims will enjoy daily Mass in many of Germany's brilliant cathedrals and churches, a cruise on the Rhine River, a tour of Cologne's cathedral treasury containing the staff of St. Peter, and a visit to Munich's famous Glockenspiel. Book this incredible opportunity now for $5,439. For more information, go to iobserve.org.
Amazonians, missionaries, religious, and activists want the church to see the Amazon's faithful traditions, cultural diversity, and environmental challenges when the Vatican convenes a special assembly of bishops for the Pan-Amazon region, which will be held October 6th to the 27th. We learn more now in this piece from Catholic News Service.
The synod for the Amazon that's coming up this year. I was surprised to hear about this synod, really kind of excited about it. You know, the Amazonian face of the church is young people. I'm really interested to see how those young people's voices are going to be heard at the synod and in the world as we try and decide what is this Amazonian face.
Who knows the Amazon, who lives in the Amazon, are the indigenous people. And today, in the reality that we're living, they are the most vulnerable. They are the Indians, the poor, the black, the farmers, and women, and gays, homosexuals, are the populations that are most affected by our government. And to live in the Amazon means that you have to defend those peoples who are most vulnerable, but who are so very important to who we are and what we are about.
Children of North and South, it's time you realize that many aspects of our culture are good, but not all. Like burning our precious savannas.
We are trying to give the church an Amazonian face. We are enforcing the importance of language and culture and tradition.
So now the earth is already damaged. That is how the earth suffering now. Our mother is crying now because of damageness. So the thing we are to do now, we are to help the young people by praying to the Almighty. That is the main thing we have to do.
What I would like the church to do is to help pray for our people.
And you can stay informed on this important synod with ongoing coverage at iobserve.org. Finally today, with all of the nice, cool fall temperatures we've been having, we called on our good friend, Father Brian McGrath, the pastor of St. Mary's in Lee, to see what's cooking this autumn season. All right, well, Father Brian, what are you going to be making for us today?
So I thought we'd make, with this harvest season, pumpkin soup. And you can make a squash soup, all different types of soup, but I came across these really cool pumpkins they're called Winter Luxury. I thought we'd make them into a nice soup.
Oh, sounds nice for this time of year.
So, want to pass me one of the pumpkins?
Sure.
These are these unusual colored ones.
Yeah, these look a lot lighter than your traditional jack-o'-lantern pumpkin.
Yeah. And oftentimes people will just say you make any pumpkin into pumpkin soup, but really you have to get the right pumpkin because the taste of them is different.
And what are the ingredients that we're looking at today?
Well, obviously it's pumpkins. So it'll be pumpkins, some oil and butter, stock. We have our leeks, thyme, and sage. So let's clear our surface off and we'll get started.
Okay.
So we take our pumpkin, and pumpkins like to roll, so it's probably best to kind of keep it on a flat surface. Obviously it's a sharp knife, so be careful when you start to go after it.
Yeah, we don't need to be going to the ER today, Father.
Right. But I find if you can cut it in half.
Do you use a non-serrated knife? Does that work better? Or?
Yeah, this is more like a chopping knife.
Okay.
I find the serrated knives are used for, like when I make my bread.
Oh wow, look at that.
Oh, and we're going everywhere on that. So these Winter Luxury, they have this really cool looking meat of the pumpkin and a little bit less than some of the other pumpkins in terms of seeds.
They're very brightly colored inside.
Right.
You know, look at that.
So you have options. We're going to try to save some of the seeds because they're a lot of fun to put as a garnish.
Sure.
You can use a spoon, or what I like to sometimes use is an ice cream scoop. So just kind of loosen up this stuff. And then it comes right out. I know how much you like to hold the goopy stuff.
I'll let you do that part.
So when we cut a pumpkin, flat surface.
Okay.
And it really cuts pretty soft. I'm going to cut this into 1-inch cubes. And so I kind of cut it so that I can have that 1 inch.
It's almost like a cantaloupe, but probably a lot harder.
Yeah, it's not much harder.
No.
When these are ripe, they cut pretty easily. But like a cantaloupe, you don't want to eat the rind. So we'll put some of this aside.
Yes.
And all we're going to do is cut off the skin. And I'm trying to get rid of all see the green?
Yeah.
So
That would give you a stomach ache, according to my grandma, if you ate the rind.
Yeah. All right. So what we'll do is we'll set aside our pumpkin and we'll get ready for the next step.
Okay. All right, so we're starting off with, we have all the pumpkin, and then we have to add leeks and your spices.
Right, so we start with the leeks. And people, again, what do you like for taste?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think these leeks are pretty awesome. And we're only going to use pretty much the white stuff. We might I'll use the other stuff somewhere else.
The leek is an onion in the onion family.
Right. So
And
you could have scallions, you could have a white onion or maybe a Vidalia onion. And we're going to blend this all together. So all I want to do with the leeks is just give them enough so they can start to soften up.
Oh, so you don't really have to chop it fine?
Right,
Okay.
right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our leeks and we're going to start the stove. So kind of medium heat.
Oh, I can really smell the onion.
So all we're going to really need is like a tablespoon of olive oil. Just enough to kind of coat the bottom of the pan. And then just a teaspoon of butter.
This is going to be healthy.
Yeah. All veggies, all fresh veggies, and a little bit of stock. So as that starts to cook, we're going to put the leeks in with it.
That was 3 leeks,
Oop,
I
I
think,
lost
right?
one off the side.
You got a runner there.
Man down. Yeah, 3 leeks. It's about 2 cups.
Okay.
We'll just let that start to come up to heat. And as that's going, we'll start our spices. So it's fresh sage.
Smells so good.
So we're just trying to get about a tablespoon. I don't know if you think about that. So about a teaspoon of the thyme and about a tablespoon of the sage. All right, put a little water in with our seeds. And so all we're going to do is to kind of pull the seeds away from the stringy parts.
Pumpkin seeds are so fun to do for kids. They always love to carve the pumpkin,
Yeah.
roast the seeds.
But what's nice about this is they're a little bit moist. And what we'll be able to do is put some salt right on them and then roast them up. All right, I think we have enough for a garnish. So all we get is some seeds, right?
Mhm.
We'll spread them on our cookie sheet. So all we've done is kind of soften up our leeks a little bit. And we're going to add our spices. So we're just going to do our pumpkin.
So we have our seeds now in the oven, the pumpkin's cooking with the scallions, and what's the next step?
So now we want to put a stalk in with it to really soften everything up and bring it together. I love those like a real chicken stock or a real vegetable stock, but the vegetable stock I only find was sort of cubes. So we took about 7 cups of water.
How many cubes would you add per cup of water?
Half a cube per cup. So 7 cups, we need really 3.5 cubes.
Okay.
So we'll add that right into our mixture. And with this, we want to bring it right to a full boil.
This is always such a nice time of year, all the harvest, all the root vegetables coming in, and so much you can do with them, really.
Oh, it's amazing, you know, and also in our liturgical year, we start to see the readings take a turn towards the end of our liturgical year and the harvest, the call to reap the harvest of the Lord.
That's
so
right.
It's a great time. But we'll check our pumpkin soup now, see if they're doing okay. They've been simmering for about 25 minutes. And we're just going to touch, so you go right in. The pumpkins are super soft. So they are great. What we'll do is we'll transfer it over to our work table.
Oh, it smells so good. You can really smell the rosemary.
Right, yeah. Well, the thyme, you mean, the thyme, or maybe the
Oh.
sage. Yeah.
I'm so good with my spices.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it to a blender and just kind of blend it up. But I like to do is I'm going to put it in this glass bowl, give it a chance to cool off a little bit. So, first spin on the blender. I only put a little bit in because it can really go far. but-
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to feed your whole parish with all of this soup now.
So I don't know if you can see the thickness of it, but it's a really thick soup
Yeah.
pureed. And so we just take a few of our pumpkin seeds.
Looks delicious.
And a little bread.
Look at this.
And that's pumpkin soup.
Picture perfect.
Well, bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Oh.
Bit hot.
The soup was really delicious and so easy to make. And if you would like a copy of Father Brian's pumpkin soup recipe, we will have it posted at iobserve.org. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thanks so much for watching today. Before we go, we want to let you know about an upcoming talk and reflection on nonviolence to be given by Suzanne and Brayton Shanley, co-founders of the Agape community. This is coming up on October 25th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in DeCeasy Hall at the Marion Center, 1365 Northampton Street in Holyoke. The Shanleys will also talk about their new book, Loving Life on the Margins. For more information, we have a link at iobserve.org. And remember, for more updates anytime, you can find information and news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org. We also are on Facebook, updating daily while our reporters work on stories for Reel to Reel. So check us out and friend us at Catholic Communications. And we will see you next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.